Firstly, under the category of advantages and disadvantages essays, we have 3 kinds of question prompts that you can get. Each kind has to be approached in a different way. So you should be able to recognize each type by the way in which it is worded. You'll be given a statement and asked to discuss the advantages and disadvantages based on it. So for this type of question, all you need to do is have an introductory paragraph followed by 2 main body paragraphs outlining the advantages in one and disadvantages in the other. Finally, you'll close with a concluding paragraph. Remember, you've not been asked to share your opinion, so please don't. Neither should you favor any one of the two. You need to balance both the advantage and the disadvantage. All you need to do is to lay down facts objectively and not look for any logic to emphasize on. Now let's take a look at a sample for this kind of task prompt. Recent studies have brought to light that many children are getting addicted to mobile phones. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages for growing children. So do you need to give your opinion here? Definitely not. What you need to do here is write at least one advantage and one disadvantage. Avoid sharing opinion of any sort. So therefore, it's good to avoid phrases like I think, I believe, it would be better, etc. for these lean towards opinion. The trick is to give equal weightage to both advantages and disadvantages. Remember, just 4 paragraphs. Introduction, 2 main body paragraphs, and the concluding paragraph. Now, even though the prompt might say advantages and disadvantages, remember that you are to choose only one of each which will contribute to your main body paragraphs. Do not, however, generally talk about various advantages and disadvantages. Instead, choose one for each and elaborate. Also be aware that you need to balance the two when you write about it. Be sure to paraphrase the question prompt and introduce the advantage and disadvantage in the first paragraph. It is indeed a common sight these days to see children glued to mobile phones, whether at home or outside. In this essay, we will see the advantages and disadvantages of this growing trend. This introduction clearly paraphrases the question prompt and allows the examiner to understand what is to follow. That is, you're going to speak about the advantage and disadvantage. Incidentally, use of mobile phones, especially smartphones, has many advantages. One such benefit is that children learn a lot by playing educational games or watching informative cartoons on the phone. My young nephew learned his letters of the alphabet just when he was 2, and he could pronounce them perfectly. He also learned numbers and could count up to 100 by the time he was 3. He used to play an interesting game that had a fun way of teaching these. Repetitive listening, watching, and playing has made him very adept at counting. Many of his friends, too, are as good as him in English and math. Now, that is one advantage explained with an example. Let's move on to see how we explain the disadvantage. Having understood how the smart mobile phone can be useful, let us not forget the other side of it. Now, this sentence clearly shows that you're going to move on to explain the other side of what happens when children use mobile phones. This sentence will clearly tell your examiner that you're moving on to the next point. Although it's true that it helps children's self-learning, it also has many disadvantages. One drawback that is commonly prevalent among children is that they're more interested in staying indoors by themselves. Playing outdoors with other children has taken a backseat. Lack of exposure to sunlight has caused deficiency in vitamin D, which, coupled with hardly any physical activity, has resulted in children becoming either obese or deficient in calcium. Now, this is one disadvantage explained with supporting facts. Let's move on to the conclusion. To conclude, while mobile phones are helpful in educating children, they are also harmful when the young ones get so addicted to them that they refuse to involve in physical activities necessary for their healthy growth. Now, this essay is about 270 words, which is well within the limit expected. It also gives equal weightage to both the disadvantage and the advantage.